for everyone joining in right now. We will begin shortly. We're going to give it a little bit of time to allow everyone to get logged in. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Roads and Bridges and our sponsor, Trimble, I would like to welcome you to today's presentation titled Accelerating Bridge Construction. If anyone has questions throughout the presentation, please click the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen and enter your question. Questions will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Our speaker for today's Lunch and Learn session is Jonathan White, Trimble Marine Product Manager.
Thanks so much for that. Hello, everyone. Good day to you. I'm happy to have a chance to speak to you today about accelerating bridge construction and, in particular, the technologies that can be used to enhance efficiency and safety in these workflows. Just as a real quick repeat, my name is Jonathan White. I'm a product manager for the Trimble Civil Engineering Field Solutions product division, and I specialize in marine construction. I'm going to go quickly through my agenda today. We'll talk a little bit about Trimble, who we are, what we do, bridge market opportunity, and the landscape that's out there that we're seeing. We'll talk about workflows using machine guidance for piling workflows, bridge deconstruction workflows, then some actions for bridge contractors, and hopefully some good Q&A on the back end of this discussion. So who is Trimble? We are industry leaders in civil construction. We were founded 35 years ago with the core principles of position, information, and communication. We specialize in connecting the physical and digital worlds and the construction continuum. So what is the construction continuum? This is not a new concept, and maybe some of you guys call it something different. I've heard construction life cycle, maybe some other terms used to describe the same type of a concept, but essentially what we're talking about is developing solutions to help improve efficiency and productivity, minimize errors, wastes, and costs at every stage of the project. So throughout this cycle, from the planning and design to construction, and all the way down to the operation and maintenance on the back end here. We're pride ourselves in bringing workflow efficiency and quality gains all the way through this value chain. And I'm not going to go through each one of these. You guys probably already know what these things are, but you will hear me touching on several of these areas throughout the rest of this presentation and discussion. So at the center of Trimble's construction continuum is a solution we call Quadri, which is a cloud-based BIM server and collaboration platform that allows the sharing of data and models both in design and production. So that's connecting the field to the office and allowing everyone on this team to have the latest information as soon as it is possible. The image on the left shows another one of our products called NovaPoint, which is a design software package. We have other design software solutions as well, CAD softwares and other things. I certainly can't show everything. I'm only showing a few of the solutions that Trimble users are taking advantage of today. But I'm going to focus a little bit more on the one on the right, which is called Tekla Structures. That's an intelligent parametric bridge information modeling solution. So maybe you guys on this call have heard that term nowadays, BRIM, instead of BIM, which is clever. And this is used for construction designs of all bridge types, sizes, and materials. So here's kind of a high altitude look at the Tekla Structures bridge workflow. And although some of the terms and descriptions in this particular example are specific to bridge design and construction, this concept is not new. And these types of things are certainly applicable to many different types of construction projects. So conceptual design, modeling and detailing, construction and fabrication, those are things that we do on lots of types of construction projects. But the point here is I want to encourage you guys to reach out, consider these types of workflows, consider these types of solutions, and embrace them because this is the now, this is the future, and we need to be forward thinking and learn as much as we can about these types of solutions to help ourselves stay competitive in this landscape. The collaborative tools allow connectivity from hardware to field software. So I'm literally boots on the ground, surveyors out there in the field running different software and hardware solutions, connecting into that collaborative cloud tool. And we're even seeing virtual reality tools, which enable you to position your model in the real world. So there's so much out there. This is just a snapshot of some of the things that Trimble customers are using today. So here's a more granular look. I just showed you the high altitude. Here's a more granular look at the civil construction field solutions market segment. So you may recall a moment ago in the introduction, I indicated that that's the division that my role is assigned to. So this is my area of expertise. My group designs and brings to market products that are used in the applications that you see on your screen here. So grade control for all types of construction machines, machine guidance, site positioning. So the guys that are staking out these construction sites with the laser-based or GPS or GNSS based survey instruments, and also machine construction using the same types of guidance, paving, milling, drilling and piling, and even landfills. So that's everything on our side of the Trimble network. And this is my area of expertise. So I'm going to focus the rest of the discussion and the presentation on marine construction. Marine construction has a wide range of solutions, from machine control and guidance to field design and project management software. Later in this discussion, we're going to look at several specific examples of how these solutions and workflows are applied in the field. And we'll talk about bridge construction and in particular the boom that we feel is looming on the horizon. So considering this audience and our host being Roads and Bridges Magazine, many of you guys have probably seen some of these metrics that I'm showing on the screen here, or at least something similar. This is just something that in my just preparation for this discussion, I found from the infrastructure report card. They've showed that there are 617,000 bridges across the USA. That's what they've identified. They've said that 259,000 of those are 50 plus years old. Another 46,000 and some change are considered structurally deficient and in need of repair or replacement. And that compared to 2019, they estimate that we need to increase our annual budget 158%, up to about $22 billion a year, to address that issue. Also as part of that preparation, I just found a handful of projects that are out there on the landscape, either in the planning phases. Some of them are already happening. And certainly this is just a snapshot. We can't talk about everything that's out there, but I would imagine that in your region, you have some of these projects that are applicable to this conversation, and could fall under this discussion for sure. A few that I found that were of interest were the Rapid Bridge Replacement Project that's in Pennsylvania. I think Granite Construction is the group that's spearheading that event or that effort. And that entails 559 bridges alone just in the state of Pennsylvania in the USA. The West Seattle Bridge Project, that's another big one, around $50 million. It's ongoing, I think, even at this time. Initially, I think it was scheduled to wrap up in 2022, but that could be changing. Another one is the Tappan Zee Bridge Project in New York. That's just up from Manhattan, around a $3 billion project. I'll talk specifically about that one later on in this discussion. And another one was $2 billion for 4 different projects in Riverside, California. And an interesting quote I found from Gary Johnson, who's the VP of Land and Quarrying for Granite Construction, involved in that Rapid Bridge Replacement Project. He stated that roughly 700 cities across the USA are facing similar projects that are still awaiting funding. I thought this was an interesting quote. This is from the American Society of Civil Engineers, and they have stated that, and we probably all know this, right? But the U.S. has been underfunding its roadway maintenance for years, which has resulted in about a $786 billion backlog of road and bridge capital needs. The bulk of that backlog, at around $435 billion, is in repairing existing roads, while $125 billion is needed for bridge repair. Another $120 billion for targeted system expansion, and $105 billion for targeted system enhancement, which includes safety enhancements, operational improvements, and environmental projects. So what does this all translate into? I think the stakes are high, ladies and gentlemen. I think with the boom that is looming on the horizon here, you got to consider, what work do you want and what is within your capacity to execute. How well prepared are you to bid and win on these infrastructure projects? What equipment have you got? What skills does your current workforce have? Do you need new equipment? Do you need new software? Do you need new hardware? Do you need new manpower? Can you complete the work on time and profitably? That's perhaps the most important question. I can guarantee you the winning contractors on these projects are going to be leveraging technology to make sure that this happens. I'd like to, at this moment, let me see if I can get this right, launch a poll for you guys. I'm hoping that this is to encourage crowd participation, and then we can discuss afterwards. Hopefully you can see the poll on your screen. The question reads, how are you preparing for the potential boom in bridge construction? Your answers will be kept anonymous, so don't worry about that. We're just looking for some information back from you guys, and this is to help, I think, get those gears turning in your head. The different options are purchasing heavy equipment ahead of potential shortages, investigating new workflows that improve competitiveness, training and recruiting staff, mergers and acquisitions, and other. So I'm going to give that a few seconds here to see if we can encourage a little more involvement. Doing good, guys. All right. So right now, training and recruiting staff is in the lead, followed closely by investigating new workflows that improve competitiveness and other. Maybe we can discuss what other means at the end of this discussion. I'd like to hear from you guys on what maybe that entails. So that's very good, interesting results there. But definitely, I see a lot of you guys on the call interested in training and recruiting staff. I think that's a big one, and I'll touch on that a little bit more here in just a moment as well. But we've gotten pretty good reporting back there. I'm going to end that polling, and we will continue moving forward in the presentation. So a little bit more detail on the infrastructure spending that we believe is looming on the horizon here. It comes directly from our friends here at Roads and Bridges Magazine. I think we've all been watching the news lately. We know that an infrastructure bill is forthcoming. And right now, the latest is $109 billion set aside for roads, bridges, and major projects here in the USA. I know many of us will probably be continuing to monitor this closely as more details come down the pike for us. But the bottom line is here, there's major opportunity out there. And the whole purpose of this discussion is what we feel bridge contractors need to be doing in order to be prepared for that boom and to make sure that you're not left behind. Some industry challenges that we're seeing in 2021, and actually some of these have even kind of carried over from 2020. I know it was a strange year during COVID for all of us. A lot of projects did kind of get put on hold, and the timeline slid a little bit, but they're towards the end of 2020. As a technology manufacturer, we really started seeing demand increase, and that increased exponentially in 2021, and we believe that's going to continue and only get more significant. We're seeing tougher bid competition across the board, faster project completion requirements. People are having to do more with less. So constrained resources, requiring higher productivity per machine hour, per man hour. Health, safety, and environmental compliance. Of course, we all have to adhere to those and continue to stay abreast of any changes there. We're facing a workforce issue, whether the workforce is aging and considering retirement, or maybe they have retired. Or even just finding these new human resources. Who are these people going to be? Are they out there? Have they got the skills that we need them to have? And a big one that I want you guys to consider, this is a big take home for you today, machine shortages. Many people out there aren't even thinking about this, but there was a survey that was held recently from the Association of Equipment Manufacturers. So all of these OEMs out there were polled, and what this poll suggests is that the demand for heavy machines and equipment will be at its greatest demand since 1997 for all machine types. So I'm talking about graders, I'm talking about dozers, I'm talking about backhoe excavators, I'm talking about cranes, drilling machines, piling machines. All of these machines that you guys, well, all of us are relying upon for this heavy work and these infrastructure projects. Don't just assume that they're out there and available, because everybody's after them, and you got to be considering that now. We may have a few months of lag time between this infrastructure bill getting passed and people actually starting to pull the trigger on some of these large projects. But if you're not ready, if you don't have the resources on hand, how are you going to bid competitively? It's going to be a challenge. So I just wanted to certainly make that point, and hopefully you guys take that point away from this discussion today. So we're certainly seeing an industry shift in bridge construction workflows on the marine side of things, of course. I'm talking about construction projects and bridge construction projects in and around a body of water. Excuse me. So here are some of the areas that you're seeing on the screen, or different applications in which major technological developments have enhanced workflow efficiencies. I'm showing various machine types here, from clamshell cranes to piling and drilling machines. I mentioned backhoes before, the hydrographic survey, even hydraulic dredging. So all of these different machine types, we're really seeing an industry shift in the technological development that is, these are solutions that can be wielded into these types of projects that we're talking about, and enhance efficiency, safety, and ultimately we're talking about profitability. So I will touch a bit on hydrographic survey. I don't want to get too detailed on it, because that could be an entire webinar just on hydrographic survey. But for those of you guys out there who have been involved in a bridge construction project over the water, you know what this is. You've likely even got at least some peripheral experience with this type of technology. But the point that I want to make here is that we are seeing major advancements in how this technology is deployed, both the pre-construction and the planning side of things. You've got to know what's there, right? So hydrographic survey is used for that purpose on the pre-construction planning, but it's also used during the project as well to update the situation. You've got to have the latest information. What's down there? What does the lay of the land look like under the surface of that water? So that could consist of a traditional type of a hydrographic surveying vessel, but some of the advancements that we're seeing involve the use of remote operated vessels, or even autonomous vessels that can be deployed during the construction process. So these can either be networked, they can update data sets in near real time. So it's all about operators and engineers and project management having the latest and most detailed information as soon as possible. In some cases, in fact, we're even seeing sonar equipment mounted on construction barges during the piling or debris removal types of applications. So that's giving an operator real-time data updates. So it's eliminating the guesswork there. So construction workflows, continuing down that discussion for drilling, piling, caisson, rock block placement types of projects. What am I talking about? Specifically, I'm talking about GNSS or GPS, some call it, for precise positioning and heading of your machine and the construction barge that the machine may be mounted on, plus the various motion sensors and encoders to measure and monitor the movement of these machines, cable payouts, those different types of things, and also the attachment itself that may be on the end of that wire crane cable or on the end of that stick from the excavator. So this, all of these things help to provide real-time views of the machine surface and the design. Today, we're able to actually place piles with centimeter precision by using machine guidance and these types of solutions. Here's a quick example from Alva Construction. This is a piling project courtesy of one of our dealers, Measutronics. The design required vertical and rigged piles. And I understand maybe I don't have a whole lot of operators on this call, but what I really want to point out is, if you can imagine yourself as an operator, the guy who's actually sitting in the seat driving this piling machine, this is what he can see. He can visualize this on a user interface on a flat panel monitor inside the cabin of this machine. He's got the design, he's got the surface, he sees himself in real time, he sees his machine relative to everything else around him. and he is literally placing himself and the pile based upon the design with real-time metrics that are giving him indications of where he is relative to those other components that are part of his environment. So it's all about enhancing visibility and allowing yourself to see where previously in traditional workflows you wouldn't have had that level of visibility. And ultimately, we're talking about, I mean, that says it all right there at the bottom of the screen. These guys said through deploying these solutions, the machine guidance and this type of workflow, they were able to install vertical piles 40 to 50% faster. So for you project management guys, the owners of the construction companies, contractors, I understand maybe you're not driving the machine itself, but this is the take home. So 50% faster, more accuracy, increased safety. That's what it's all about. And that's important to know those things as you're bidding on these projects. You need to know what you're going up against. And there are going to be companies out there who are using these types of things. And if your bid is based upon traditional workflows, you got to understand that there are going to be guys out there using this technology that are going to be faster and more efficient than you. So that's part of the take home that I'm trying to convey to you guys today. It gives real-time monitoring of the current pile position, orientation, and inclination of these piles. And it displays the difference between target design and current pile position. So again, this is the operator point of view. That's what he's seeing. Yeah, there you can see your machine, you can see the design, you can see all of these metrics given you, and this is in real time too, guys. So there's not lag here. This is all instantaneous. So as the machine moves, you know, the operator sees it on his screen. So he has that visual reference out his window, and he has an extreme level of accuracy down to a few centimeters by using the information that can be displayed here on his screen. And just a comment that these guys made is they don't know how they survived without it. Once we see guys adopting these types of workflows, they never want to go back. So just something else to consider. Here's another example, a different type of a use case. This is a Monopile project. This is down in Australia. I don't have, this is ongoing, and regrettably, I don't have metrics here to share with you just yet. But this is another example of how technologies are used to enhance accuracy. And these guys are using a variety of laser devices to help them ensure the attitude of the pile is the way that they want it to be as the crane is lowering the pile through the upper and lower collar, which you can see visible there on the top side of the image. So they had a laser that was in an upper and a lower position that were shooting the pile in real time and giving that information back to the crane operator and to the operator who was controlling the orientation of the two collars. The upper and lower collars could move independently of each other. So just a way that another way that technology is being used to enhance efficiencies in these workflows. Challenges with traditional methods. I think really it's all about efficiency. Traditional methods can be slow and tedious, of course. I wanted to show you guys this image here because I thought it was very telling. The image is courtesy of our friends at the Western Dredging Association, but several of you guys have probably been out on a job site somewhere and you've seen one of these types of machines operating, and they may have paint marks on the cable, or if it's an excavator, maybe there are scaled marks on the stick of the excavator itself, and those were used to monitor depth. So if you asked an operator, where's your attachment, he could tell you, well, if the water level is at that yellow paint mark, then I know I'm roughly at 10 meters. So that is one way to do it, and in the past that was the only way to do it. but you don't have to do it that way anymore. We can tell you where that attachment is using machine guidance and this machine control and the hardware software solutions. We can tell you where that attachment is to within a few centimeters. The highly experienced operators used to be required. It's not quite like that anymore. These types of technologies, our customers are telling us that after a few days of some training and then a little bit of practice, they get in the saddle very quickly and they become very efficient in a very short time span. So I won't go through all of those bullets. You can see them there on your screen, but overall, we're talking about efficiency enhancements through the use of new technologies. Another general question, why digitize? Accuracy, productivity, consistency, so repeatable results, not just being able to do it once or twice, but we can these results are repeatable with this technology. Safety is a big one for us, so removing some of the manpower requirements, whether they're divers in the water or the man out there on the barge pulling cables. This technology gives you that visibility, both above the waterline and as well as eyes under the water. So you're removing some of that manpower from being in harm's way. That's a big value add that we're seeing and hearing about from our customers using these tools. Flexibility, that's another big one. This level of visibility is enabling our users to operate and like double their production, operating 24/7. Previously, you had to be able to see. You needed the daylight. You needed sunshine. So, sun up to sundown, you could do a 12-hour shift. Great. But you can also finish your project in half the time by running 2 12-hour shifts. There's no reason why you can't do this at night. The enhanced safety that comes from this situational awareness using technology, removing the manpower from being in harm's way, that enables you to operate on the 24-hour types of time shifts. Auditable results, so you're keeping a digital record of everything that's happening. The billing disputes, we've all been in, that's the downside of the industry, but we've all been involved in something along those lines. You've got a digital record. All of these things are stored and logged. So in any time you place a pile or a piece of material or remove a piece of material, that can all be logged and saved and exported out as a text file or spreadsheet that can be produced at a later date if needed. And certainly cost reduction, confidence, knowing that the work's been completed before you're moving. And we've talked about this entire conversation, enabling yourself to bid accurately and protect those bid margins. So this is less rework that we're talking about. So the contingency that you're normally having to deal with, I'm not saying the contingency is completely gone, but it's going to be diminished. It's going to be significantly reduced. So you've got more control over your bidding, more confidence in your bidding, and more control over your project. I'm going to speed up a little bit here because I'm just noticing the time. I mentioned Tappan Zee earlier. This is north of Manhattan. They had to construct the new bridge and then remove the old one. So our technology and customers using our technology were very, very involved in the deconstruction part of this project. I think it started back in 2013. And at the time, it was the largest infrastructure project in the US. They used this machine guidance that I've been talking about, was used across the project for excavation, placement of structures and demolition work. And they used the heavy equipment they used were excavators, clamshell cranes, and hydraulic dredges. So this is an image right here, just showing you guys what that hydrographic survey looks like and the detail that you can see. That's a real world shot right there. That's not fabricated or computer generated graphics didn't make that. That's what the survey data looks like on the bed of the Hudson River right there. That's in the deconstruction process. That's a big pile of debris that needed to be removed, potentially broken apart and removed. One of the operators there, his name was Andrew Teese. He gave us a very interesting quote that is so telling. He said that they were able to identify pieces of concrete on the riverbed of the Hudson River that were the size of a football. So just, I invite you, hold your hands out. You guys, we've probably all thrown a football before, right? So how big is a football? And these guys were able to identify that through the use of this technology, and they didn't have to feel around on the riverbed to find those objects. They knew exactly where they were, and they went straight to it and removed it. Another shot here. This is a real screenshot. The image on the right is what this operator is seeing. These were big concrete caissons that had to be removed. What they did is survey those with the sonar and import that into the user interface that the operator is seeing. And at the tip of that stick, you can't see it right now because it's underwater in this image, but you can see it on the right side image on the bottom where it says tool Z is minus 5.40 meters. That's the jackhammer tool that's on the end of that stick. And just again, a testament to what it means to not have to guess. This operator is going directly to that piece of concrete, and he's deploying that jackhammer, and he's busting apart that concrete so that the clamshell cranes can come in behind him and remove that material. So the point here, it's safer, it's faster, more accurate using equipment with eyes underwater. Another shot, this is the clamshell crane coming in on the back end to remove that material. The tool's real-time as-building capabilities provide the daily insight into productivity and documentation that their benchmarks were being met. So these guys are able to better manage the overall project as well. Definitely a value add. And this, I believe, is my last slide. I'll close with a quote from Blake Yaffe, who was a area manager for the project's demolition portion. He says, we're able to look at the structure beforehand and then take that imagery, evaluate and confirm elevations, quantities, and conditions. We were able to deal with any items that might create issues in advance of performing any actual work on the structure. So again, overall, we're talking about efficiency here, and just having that information, knowing that information, you're removing the guessing from traditional methods. So this project would have taken much longer had they not been using this type of technology. And this project team has indicated that knowing what they know now, moving forward, they don't see a situation where they would deploy machines for this type of an operation without the use of this technology. So I want to leave you with next steps. I really hope that you guys will research and consider adopting these workflows before you're left behind your competitors. I want you guys to bid. I want you guys to win. But I do think that that's going to require investment now, so that you're prepared for this impending construction boom and machine shortage that we know is coming. We're happy to assist you at Trimble, whether it's Trimble or someone else. The take home I want you to have from this discussion is there's technology out there that can make you better at what you do. It can make you more competitive. It can make you more efficient. It can help you win bids, control your projects, and get the next project. If there's anything that we at Trimble can do to assist you, I've got an email there for marine@trimble.com. You are welcome to contact us directly. And if it's in my purview, it'll come to me. If it's part of one of our other product divisions that you're asking about, we'll certainly port you into the right product group. And you can contact me directly. My email address is right there on the screen as well. It's Jonathan_White trimble.com. So that's my last slide of content. I wanted to make sure that we have enough time for some Q&A and a general discussion. I welcome that. I hope we get some of it, and I would ask any of our panelists or co-hosts, could you assist at this time with the Q&A?
Sure. Yeah, so if you have any questions, please submit them via the Q&A or via the chat. The first question we've got for you, Jonathan, is this technology useful only for large general contractors, or can smaller operations still benefit?
Good question. Smaller operators can certainly benefit. It's relative, and for the larger projects, maybe it's easier to see or easier to experience immediately. But on the smaller projects, really, you're talking about a relatively small investment compared to the overall project cost. And what we hear from our customers is that they're paying for the hardware, the software, the system that they may have installed on this machine. They're paying for it within that project. Depending on the size and scale of the project, maybe that payoff is a couple of months versus 6 months or longer. But we're most definitely seeing the technology is being paid for in the field through the gains that they're achieving as a result of using the technology. So I would most definitely say, and not just my opinion, this is directly from the mouths of customers out there that we have that are using this technology. It is certainly applicable for projects both large and small.
Okay. Next question is, how long does it take a new operator to learn this technology?
So another good question. There's typically a couple of days of training for the operator, and not just the operator, but we want the other project people involved as well. So in the case of Trimble, our dealer channel typically spends 3 to 5 days on site after the installation of the equipment to train both the operators and the other members of the project team are going to be using this information and benefiting from it. And we're finding that I think I mentioned earlier in the discussion, after a couple of days of training, and once the operator gets a little bit of time behind the stick and gets used to trusting what's on his screen, give him a couple of days to get some practice, and they're riding really tall in the saddle very quickly.
Another question here, will the slides be made available after the webinar? Yeah, we'll release a copy of the slide deck or any other information that you want to. As you can see on the slide, you can also go to YouTube and see a couple of videos of the machines in action that are being guided by this technology as well. Right. Can you just repeat which machines it's suitable for?
Yes, of course. Certainly drilling and piling machines, backhoe excavators, wire cranes, and hydraulic dredges as well. So that could be a cutter suction dredge, a bucket type of dredges as well, something I didn't mention. A variety of machine types, to be honest, and also the technology supports a number of different attachments on those machines. So I would encourage you to, if you got a use case or an application and a machine in mind, maybe it's not necessarily a standard or generic type of a bucket attachment or a clamshell attachment. This technology is suitable for variable grabs, different types of attachments, and there's a lot that can be done with the hardware and the software. You need to know the machine type. You need to know how the machine moves. What are the moving components? And if we don't have a sensor already in our portfolio that will support and track that movement, we can certainly help find it. So it's a very scalable and versatile solution.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. So we're out of time now, but if you have any additional questions, then fire them through to marine@trimble.com or Jonathan_White@trimble.com, and we'll answer any questions that you've got. But that's all the questions. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you, guys.
On behalf of Roads and Bridges and our sponsor of today's Lunch and Learn, I would like to thank everyone for their participation. Stay tuned for additional events. We hope you stay informed and stay well.